Hello, my name is Stephanie Griffith, and I'm a life coach from Nashville, Tennessee. I am doing this YouTube video series about compassion. In this video, we're going to talk about the science of compassion and a little bit about what happens in the brain and the body when we go into a compassionate space. Compassion is not just a woo-woo emotions thing. Compassion has real science behind why it works, both self-compassion and compassion for others and for the world. Science is always important. To me as a coach, I love emotions. I love the feel good stuff. I love all of that. I love some woo woo. I love talking about, things like manifesting or using mindfulness practices, which again, when you get into the science of mindfulness and why it works, it's very body and science based. But there's a lot of reputation in the coaching spaces for certain things to be a little bit more woo woo. Sometimes when people hear, let's talk about a compassion or a self-compassion practice, they assume, oh, that's all just that emotion stuff. But that's not the case. There is real science behind why compassion for self and others matters and why it helps you in your daily practice of living a more wholehearted life and creating a world around you that is expansive and beautiful and connective. Dr. Brene Brown is one of the leading people in the entire world talking about emotions work. Shame and vulnerability are two of the biggest things that she talks about. But underneath all of those things, there is absolutely compassion. In her book Atlas of the Heart, she talks about this specifically. This is what she says about compassion. Compassion is the daily practice of recognizing and accepting our shared humanity so that we treat ourselves and others with loving kindness and we take action in the face of suffering. Compassion is a virtuous response that seeks to address the suffering and needs of a person through relational understanding and action. What the majority of definitions share, including these, is that compassion includes action. It's not just a feeling, it's doing. And she talks about the difference between compassion and empathy. Empathy is the actual feeling of recognizing someone else's suffering and feeling like seeing and feeling yourself, feeling their emotions, taking some of that on, and that connection that you get when you are able to feel those things. Compassion is an action. It's what you do with those feelings of empathy. Another thing, compassion is not a relationship between the healer and the wounded. We cannot look on other people with pity or be looking down on them if we're going to have compassion. And the same goes for ourselves. We cannot be looking at ourselves with pity or look down on ourselves if we're going to truly be able to have compassion for ourselves. It's a relationship between equals. Only when we know our own darkness well can we be present with the darkness of others. Compassion becomes real when we recognize our shared humanity with each other, and also recognizing your own humanity when you're working on self-compassion as a practice. That personal humanity recognition is extremely important if you're going to learn to be kind and compassionate with yourself. Compassion needs to be applied to others. It needs to be applied to ourselves. There is real science behind this. Compassion activates the prefrontal cortex, which is a very important part of our brain. It's a part of our brain that activates more and more as we grow, as we age, as we get older. That prefrontal cortex fully becomes real, and that is where we're able to put together a lot of the things from our childhoods and all of the experiences that we've had. We're able to look at all of it with a more mature lens. It lowers cortisol, which is the stress hormone. And when that cortisol is really, really high in the body continuously, it can cause all kinds of health problems, heart problems, and autoimmune issues, and all sorts of things if that cortisol level never drops, if you stay up in those high stress levels. It also strengthens the actual literal neuroconnector circuits in your brain. Science matters when it comes to all of this work that you're doing. And the soul part matters. All of it is together. It's not either or, it's not one or the other. Studies show that the top factor for longevity in life, there's a lot of factors that go into living longer, to having a more fulfilling life. Of course, it matters, how you eat, what kind of exercise you get, how you take care of your body, family history, your DNA carries some things that you're just going to be up against when it comes to longevity. But time and time again, researchers have proven that people who will live longer when they have better connective relationships. You can only have truly connective relationships if you are willing to have compassion for yourself and others, because you're not moving into your big ego and expecting the world to comply to you all the time. And you are also, with love, you are standing up for yourself when necessary and learning about healthy boundaries and repair in relationships so that you can maintain those healthy connections for as long as possible. All of those are components of self-compassion and why it matters for others, for your relationships with others and for yourself. Let's do a quick little compassion breath. This is super easy. Even if you don't have a ton of time, if you're always running or on the go, if you're dropping kids off, picking kids up, structuring your days around a million relationships and obligations and logistics, which is very much how the season of life that I am in, with 3 daughters at 3 different schools. All sorts of things can pull focus during the day. Just even taking a breath and having it be focused on compassion is so helpful. So we're going to do this really quick together. Let's inhale together. And when we inhale, I want you to say, I care, and think of something that you care about. Ready? I care. And as you exhale, I want you to say, I release. So inhale, I care. Exhale, I release. Let's do it again. Inhale, I care. And hold. And I release. Think about the things that you care about, the love, the kindness, the tenderness that you have in your life for yourself and for others, and bring that in. All those good things fill your air, fill your lungs, fill your heart, fill your spirit, fill your body. And then think about the things that you need to let go of, the anger, the tension, the stress, and release them when you breathe out. Now, you can focus on one particular person. You can focus on one particular situation. You can focus on yourself if you're really deep into that self-compassion practice, which is always something that I am pushing for, because self-compassion ripples out to compassion for others, and that puts more kindness and goodness into the world. That's the whole basis for a ripple methodology that I teach as a coach, and we're going to talk about more in later videos. There is also a reflection that I want to encourage you to think about. After you watch this video, well, write down this question, and after you watch this video, I want you to reflect and take a couple minutes, take 5-10 minutes, put a timer on your phone and journal. What shifts when you see compassion as science, not just softness? Are you someone who needs that little bit of evidence? Are you someone who is digging and digging to prove that something is real or true before you're willing to try it for yourself? If you are, that's great. I am not quite that extreme. When someone is an expert in something, like Dr. Brene Brown, like Dr. Kristen Neff, when I listen to them, I always take in what feels good to me and what feels right and what I believe will serve me, and leave out the parts that don't resonate. And that is what I want to encourage you to do with this whole video series that I'm doing. Take in what resonates with you and leave out what doesn't. But we all can find something in the science of compassion. There is evidence that working on compassion and empathy matters. It matters for your relationship with yourself. It matters for your relationship with others, and it's going to keep putting that goodness and kindness into the world, which at this time, I mean, we always need it. We always do. But at this time especially, we need so much more goodness, kindness, and compassion and love. I also wanted to remind you that I do have a self-compassion starter kit. There is a link in the description below to this starter kit. It's $50 and it gives you multiple tools and some ideas and resources, a few videos like this that go along with self-compassion and building a practice for yourself. And also there is a book recommendation, two book recommendations. There's a podcast for you to listen to that go along with those books. And also, and it's not my podcast, by the way, it's a podcast recommendation that I listen to and has taught me a lot about self-compassion. And there is also a music playlist that I have curated for you specifically as you lean into getting more into practice of self-compassion for yourself. So I will put that in the description below. And I just wanted to close by saying, science is so great. Science is helpful and soul is helpful, all of it. But what I want you to know is that I believe in you, that you are worthy of love, belonging, connection, and joy, no matter what is going on in your life, no matter what has happened before now, or what will come in the future. You are worthy of love and compassion. And the more that you practice compassion with yourself, the more it will affect your relationships. It brings that level in your life up to a level of softness and connection and tenderness and joy that you just can't even imagine. And the more that you love yourself and learn to have compassion in your missteps and mistakes and human moments, the more that you will have compassion for others and have understanding when you experience those kinds of bumps with others. And that is such an essential skill, a skill that you can continue to build. I believe in you and I'm here for you and I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.